I'm Aysha Griffin, and welcome to Inhabit Your Dreams. I'm here today with Cheryl Alexander, who is a very interesting woman who I have met through a mutual friend on Facebook. And she has been taking slow travel tours to Italy for a number of years. And being that Italy is one of my favorite places on the planet, and I just had to speak with her about it. And so we've had a few conversations. I've gotten to know her a little bit about her fascinating life. As a child, she spent 4 years in Japan. Traveling's been a part of her life. She's been a single mom. She's been a social worker. She still works in the courts she'll tell us more about this, but I believe working with complicated divorce situations. She's kind of doing, she's a woman that has many interests and does many different things very well. So I'd like to introduce you to Cheryl Alexander. Thank you, Cheryl, for being here.
Well, it's really a privilege. I thank you for doing this. I know that your guidance has been perfect for me. Thank you. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for saying that. So, okay, I want to know, I've got a lot of questions for you. Okay, what brought you to Italy in the first place?
I have many friends who are in the arts, and there were several in a family who said, we're going to Italy and you should come. And they had been traveling to Italy for about 30 years. They just took me. I followed behind. I hardly opened my mouth. I was just in awe everywhere. And they just took me from one end of Italy to the other. We spent about a month. Mm-hmm. And it just captured my heart. There was more than I could imagine. So on the flight back, I was already planning my next trip.
I think Italy can have that effect on people. And how long ago was this in terms of years?
It was around about 25 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now your home is in California, yes?
Yes, by the beach in San Diego, North County, San Diego.
Right. And you grew up in California, though, right? Northern California?
I did. Yeah. I grew up in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. And it's quite different living here than it was growing up there, and wonderful experiences for the whole of it. Yes.
Okay, great. So now I want to know when we've talked a little bit, behind the scenes about passion and this trip thing, being a tour guide. I don't know if that's even accurate for what you do at all, but in facilitating an experience for a small group of people, what is the passion behind this for you?
Well, I approach each trip and each group differently. So each group seems to have its own personality, mm-hmm. but underlying all of it is my, really it's a passion for sharing things of beauty and natural things and support of what's in the environment. So I just get a big kick out of sharing what I've seen and what I know, and then seeing the reactions when others get to experience that. It's fun for me. It's just fun.
Well, I think that's a lot of the comments on your website from people who have taken your trip, is just how they have felt like they had that and kinds of experiences they wouldn't have had in any other situation. Yeah.
Well, I do try to discover new areas that the guidebooks don't either present or encourage. Mm-hmm. And to me, that keeps it more natural or more authentic.
Mm-hmm. Really. And you also, you had mentioned about supporting artisans, that this is a big part of what you do.
It is. I have made many friends and acquaintances in the different places I've traveled there. Mm-hmm. And I so appreciate the arts and the different, the small family-run, generation after generation businesses that are not businesses for them. It's their passion. So I
Mhm.
I like supporting their passion, and also, they live very modestly. They do it for the love of what it brings to them, and then they share it. So it just basically reflects what I'm trying to share with others or give to others, and what I appreciate about the arts.
Yeah, and in these years that you've been going to Italy, did you buy a home there? Did I read that you did that?
I bought a property,
Okay.
and it's a long, fun story. That's a whole different time that it would take up too much time. But it was, for me, it was actually like being in a Fellini film. Oh, it was just part of the adventure. Yes.
Okay, the Italian adventure and
Yeah.
Italian bureaucracy, right, which we don't want to
Yes.
mess with. Yeah, just a
Yeah.
nice part of being a traveler through Italy is that you don't have to deal with that. Yeah,
Exactly.
you just
Would
can.
I do it differently? No. It was great, and I still own the property, and it's always an interesting story to share with us.
Okay, well, maybe we'll have to do another one on that because I want to hear that. No, seriously, but when you mostly go to Umbria, is that correct? Or do you go to various parts?
Well, I settle in one place, which is it's a tri-cornered area. It's where Umbria, Tuscany, and Lazio come together,
Okay.
and so the town that I sort of base myself in when I'm doing the trips for the small groups is Orvieto, and that's mostly in Umbria, but you'd step out a few meters and you would be in one of the other regions. And so it's very interesting because it pulls together a lot of different the differences between the regions.
Right.
Yeah.
And what do you find gets people most excited when they are in these places? Because I mean, I would imagine a number of your travelers have been to Italy before. Is that true?
Mostly, yes, and very few first-time travelers. And I, in fact, recommend that first-time travelers think about going to the noted cities and exploring those first.
Mhm.
But coming as a sort of experienced traveler, or an independent traveler, what people are surprised by are the new things that they discover about the people, or the places, or the foods, the wines, things that we, again, like I said, each region is a little different in how they do things. I mean, one vintner grows grapes differently than another and has different secrets about that, or treasures that they share. And so there's always something different and new to learn, to pick up.
Mhm.
And
Do you see this as more of a retreat for lots of people to have this kind of a comfortable, more slow exploration? It's not if it's Tuesday, it must be Belgium kind of stuff. It's
very
you stay in one place.
We stay in one place for the week.
Yeah.
Sometimes we do a 10-day trip,
Mhm.
uh, but mostly we stay in the one place and try and get a feel for what it's like to be living like an Italian. And I do call it slow travel. I didn't coin that word. There is a big movement in Italy, slow everything. So slow cities, slow food, so slow travel. It's the experience that you have when you are really focused or paying attention to that moment that you're in a place, or with people, um, or just sitting at a meal, or doing a cooking lesson. We have different activities, but you can just be in that place for that time, and it's a very full experience, a very full moment. And so slowly, we don't rush around, we take our time. We don't, morning times, we can do yoga if we feel like it, or we can take a walk, or, something that just makes us relax. It's relaxed. I don't know.
What a concept.
Relaxed. It's right now. It's right. I hate to sound cliche about it. When people say you're in the moment or you're present to something, but it is in that vein, and it's that opportunity that we have, and that's kind of the context for each trip.
Right. Well, I know you personally have explored a lot of inner work as well, and different philosophies and practices. And you had mentioned Sufism as being part of your practice. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that.
Sufism is it attracted me because it's so open. It's so everything, whatever you personally believe or embody is okay. There are few rules around it, and for me, that freedom it allowed me to explore my inner self in a way that I think I couldn't have done otherwise, with some of the other paths. So every path is its own path. I didn't have to give up my heritage as I was raised in the Jewish religion. I can contain that within my Sufi belief system.
Mhm.
And I love that. I love that you can just pick and choose
I
and
think
how you want to do the work that makes you more of who you are. And basically that's what it's about. So yeah,
yeah.
that connection.
And what do you find in the people that come on these trips with you? What are they up to? I mean, what kind of experiences do they tell you they've had?
It's really interesting because they've evolved over the 20 some years I've been doing this. I mean, it's just how humans evolve anyway, and so it's sort of mimicked that. And the people that show up now are usually very interested in being relaxed, in exploring the deeper or the depths of what's around them. They not so much, in the academic sense, but really as a personal journey. So all different walks of life, all different. I'm just thinking of the last group we had where it was around the time of the US elections, and there were people from all sides and walks of life, and they were it was wonderful because they could have conversations if they wanted to about their differences, and feel each other in an empathetic way, and there wasn't any rancor. It was wonderful, yeah, just deep and beautiful.
And
So
you find that being also in another country, in another environment, another culture that's so ancient and so and so rich, that also gives that perspective where on our own lives, in our own countries.
that was a perfect segue. That's exactly what happens.
Mhm.
You get this backward look, thousands of years of culture, art. The history is just layered,
Mhm.
and you cannot be myopic.
Mhm.
You are just in this large picture. You do get that global sense. It's wonderful. One of the intentions of the trips for me is that people have a more connected sense globally to that peace we're all seeking, like inner and outer, and that it gives you a better understanding of the other, so to speak, what's out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, this just sounds wonderful. Yes. So, okay, so the next trips, you're not doing anything this year because of the great uncertainties and the times we are living in, right? So you
Right.
scheduled a couple of trips for next year. Is that
Yeah.
correct? For
Well,
2022?
yes, I go in the spring, and I usually go in May in the springtime. And I also go in the fall. So that's usually September, October. It usually overlaps both months.
Mhm.
And I did post those dates on the website. Um, are you going to ask me the dates? Because
No, 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 I will not. I will just tell everyone that they will
okay,
be posted. I mean, your website
they
link
are. Yeah.
and the information about you. I also, had asked you to give me some recommendations of books. I will post those, your
Okay.
favorite books about
Good.
Italy. And, because I want people who have an interest in Italy tend to, like you and I, want to keep going back and exploring more and deeper.
Right.
And, I know that what you do, it provides that platform for doing that for people. And so I want to encourage anyone who wants to be in a small group,
Sure.
and not, I mean, independent travelers are one thing, but there
Right.
is the pleasure of there's the friendships and, lifelong connections that often are made and forged on these kinds of trips, right?
That's one of the things that amazes me. I've made friends over the years from through the trips, and people have come back because it was just a great experience for them, and they want to recreate that or bring someone with them,
Right.
to share that
Sure.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and also, you're doing all the work on the back end to get it all together. So anyone who doesn't want to do all of that, we know there's a lot involved in planning trips. They can just slot in, let you create this, then they can experience it and enjoy it.
And
And
that's what I say, just show up. Just show up. It's all going to unfold for you, and you don't
right.
have to do anything else. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, yeah, it sounds wonderful. So is there any parting thoughts that you have in regards to life, the universe, and everything? I know there's a lot going on, and it's not until next May that, I mean, are you coming back to Italy? You are, right? You're going to do a
I'm
preliminary
going
trip?
to, I'm going to take my own trip in September for about a month, and I will travel around the country to visit friends in different places,
Mhm.
friends I've missed over the last little while. It's sadly been almost 2 years since I've been able to go.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm very excited and looking forward to that and reconnecting with everybody, and also to just see what's different since the pandemic, and what needs to be done to keep everyone safe, and any changes like that. Italy rarely changes.
Mhm.
It stays pretty much the same,
Right.
which makes me happy. But anyway, there will be things that I'll want to know about, so I can share it with the travelers or the guests that come.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay. Yeah. You had another thought.
I just wanted to say that I so appreciate what you're doing, because you do it well, and you've really drawn from me some things that I just needed to recreate, and think about a little bit more, bring forward, and yeah, it just it broadens the passion, it deepens it. So I can, again, like I said, just bring this slow travel, small groups, and have an interesting, fun, connected time with people. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm envious of all the people that are going to be going on these next trips with you. I think it's be marvelous. So Cheryl, thank you so much for being willing to have this conversation. And I want anyone who is watching this and enjoys it to be sure to like it, to subscribe, to go to your website, leave a comment, that kind of thing, and be involved as we continue to grow this idea of having conversations, just brief, but more meaningful conversations with people who are pursuing their passions and inhabiting their dreams. So thank you so much for doing this.
Oh, my pleasure. Absolutely. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.